Democrats, Republicans, and bread and roses? So a new socialist party could be on the ballot in Maryland. Since the turn of the century, Maryland has had about 4 political parties. Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, and Greens. A 5th could be coming soon. The Bread and Roses Party, a self-identified socialist group, is 227 certified signatures away from the 10,000 it needs to get onto the ballot in Maryland. The party has submitted 19,500 signatures to the Maryland Board of Elections, and 9,773 have been certified. Silver Spring resident Jerome Siegel, a political activist and University of Maryland professor who challenged Ben Cardin in June's Democratic Senate primary, is behind the grassroots effort. He's hoping to get his name on the November ballot to challenge Cardin and then build up a party that can run in multiple races in 2020. The Maryland Board of Elections rejected his request on August 29th. In addition to being 227 votes short of the 10,000, board officials told him 1,200 failed to make the name standard. Okay, so he filed a lawsuit. Siegel claims he is the first candidate in American political history to challenge an incumbent senator because of his fealty to the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee. So, and check this out. If Siegel does not appear on the ballot for the November election, Siegel for Senate is a defunct organization with no opportunity to raise money and no opportunity to repay its financial debt to Dr. Siegel. And the debt is significant. Siegel's lawsuit states that he lent his campaign fund over $1.4 million of his own funds. Federal campaign finance reports tracked by the nonprofit Open Secrets Research Group show he has raised $13,442 from individual contributions. All right. You know, it is a weird... I don't know if weird's the right word, but it's amazing. You know, in the past 2 years, I've had more kind of peeks under the hood at the political process than I've ever had before in my life. And those peeks under the hood really shaped the perspective I have now for a number of reasons. And I've seen some really disturbing stuff. To be totally honest, I've seen some really disturbing stuff that really kind of changed the way I looked at things. And one of the peeks under the hood I've gotten that doesn't fall into that category but is relevant nonetheless is I would see what candidates that were really trying to go against the grain and were really trying to challenge the status quo and the establishment, I would see what it really cost them. And I'm not going to name names, but I've seen cases where it has depleted somebody's life savings. Their life savings is completely gone. Where they, you know, and you look at this case. Now, I'm not familiar with this person in the article. This is my first time hearing about this political party. But the theme is the same, where it's somebody trying to go against the grain, go against the status quo, somebody who believes in a democratic process where we deserve better choices than 2 right-wing options. And look at all that it's costing them. And that's when you get really frustrated towards electoral politics. And the way I see it, the way out of this, is to focus on local. Focus on doing something in your community. Focus on doing something in your backyard. That's one of the many reasons I chose to start this task force for municipal internet, which, by the way, I know I still have a few emails to reply to. I am getting to everybody as quickly as I can. I will certainly reply to you. Do not worry. But, you know, it's crazy to see. And that's when you get a little frustrated. But the thing to keep in mind is that you build something from the ground up, not the top down. So, you know, if somebody wants to run for office, I don't have, you know, I'll never be on that side of the fence, so I'm not the best person to ask. But I think that going local is the way to go. You can be really effective on a school board, on a city council, maybe even as a mayor, depending on your town. And I say depending on your town because maybe mayor's not the right place to start if you live in Los Angeles. But maybe if you live in a small town, I mean, you know, Pasta, the guy that helps me out with this show, should totally run for office. And I think I'm slowly convincing him he needs to do it. Because he's a big guy in the community. Everybody, you go out with Pasta, he's like a local celebrity. Like, I go out with him in Pasadena, everybody friggin' talks to him. Like, everybody knows him. He's everybody's bro. He's everybody's friend. I'm like, what are you doing? Dude, run for office. What are you doing? Like, you have the ideas. You have, you know, some outlets behind you. Anyway, I don't even know. He might be in the chat. He's probably going to text me and yell at me in like 1 minute. But like, but anyway, unless he's asleep, he might be sleeping. And maybe that's why he doesn't run for office. He'd have to have office hours around now. And he's tired. But he should. So I think that's the way out of this, because otherwise it's like, you know, and especially since, you know, the other edge of that sword is, well, you could just take corporate money, in which case you're accepting bribes. And that, of course, is something that needs to be eliminated from politics. It's one of those things. This guy, and I have a feeling, if I had to make a prediction, I have a feeling they're going to keep these guys off the ballot. If I had to take a guess. They're shy on the signatures. They could easily say some of those signatures aren't valid. I mean, maybe I'm going to be wrong. They're going to be on the ballot. I think they have the right to be on the ballot, obviously. I hope they do make the ballot. They have the right to be there. Our elections are public. They are not private. Or at least that's what we're told. Honestly, if I could talk to that guy, I'd say instead of putting all your money into this Senate race and instead of trying, why don't you run for city council? And I don't say that to be disparaging to his efforts. I'm not trying to disparage that person's efforts or anybody else's. But I'm just saying, you know, starting local is where you have a better shot at winning. And you have a better shot at making a big... Look at Shama Suwan. But who I've been really trying to get on this show, and I really want to get her. She is amazing. She didn't run for Senate or the House or anything like that. She ran for city council. And you know what she did up in Seattle? First of all, she won. And then she really started pushing for $15 an hour, and she got it. And now that's one of the most common hot-button issues in our country. Who doesn't know about the fight for 15? Well, a lot of people don't. But you see what I'm saying. Living wages, very common, big issue. Fight for 15, the model for the rest of the country. Shama Zuwan. And she wasn't working alone. She had a lot of help, too. There were a lot of other activists involved. I'm not trying to, you know. But she was a big figure in that. She was a big player in that. And she did so on the electoral side of things. Now, you don't have to be on the electoral side of things. But that was the lane she chose. And she chose city council, an attainable thing. She won. And then she didn't stop. I don't know why that was the motion I don't know why it's like and then she punched the city hall building. She went up to the city. She was like, $15 an hour. She punched it. She didn't do that. She did things way more constructive than that. That's what I would do. That's why I don't run for office. I would just go to the city hall and I'd be like, we got a municipal internet. I'd try to push it over. That's not, maybe, I don't know. You know, my city hall is the city hall where Parks and Rec was filmed. So I sometimes when I have friends visit or family visit from other places, I'll show them the city hall. Most places, like where is your city hall exciting? Well, in Pasadena, fun fact, it's where Parks and Rec was filmed. And my parents were really big Parks and Rec fans. So when they came to visit, I actually did take them to the city hall. And it was the last thing we did, because it was right before I took them to the airport, because it was like, hey, let's go. And they really dug it. They were real excited. And I even sang the theme song for them when I drove them. Like, I drove them up, and I was like, here, I'll create the ambiance. And I was like, da-da-da-da, 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 dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum, da-da-da-dum, 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 da-da-da-dum. All right. Thanks for sharing that, Marcus.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? Getting on